Welcome to the 13th episode of Talk Station Season 2. I'm Asira Khanal. I think one of the issues that we youngsters or youth have nowadays in general is we're always looking for inspiration in our life, but we sort of look for them all around the world. Tara, inspiration ko lagi, we don't have to go beyond the border. We don't have to go around the globe to do something different. And today with us, we have someone who recognized a Dhaasoo idea within whatever is around us and built a startup of his own. We have Mr. Nitesh Sharma, the founder of Dhaasoo Deals Private Limited, with us today. And before I talk much about him, I'd like him to introduce himself.
Hi everyone. As Asira said, you've already introduced me. Thank you so much for inviting me to the show. So basically everyone wants to know what Dhaasoo is all about. Well, Dhaasoo is nothing. It's not, I would not say it's a company. It's not anything but just an idea, an imagination which has come into reality for the last 3 years. To keep it simple, we started with an idea of making use of most of the things that are around us. Anything that you see as scrap, we see value out of it. So value creation is the idea that we wanted the locals and our youth to be educated about, and that's where we saw money and we thought, why not? That's where it all started.
Well, before we started this episode and all, we had a very good chat.
Yes.
And you shared a very interesting story about this table.
Yes, I did.
How about you let our viewers know what this table is all about and what other things that you have been able to make out of this structure over here. It was a very inspiring story to me.
Sure. So basically, Dhaasoo first started with a mirror lamp made out of an alcohol bottle. And slowly and gradually what we realized was one lamp was not going to change the course of events. So we started diversifying and getting all the other kind of scrap of including, let's say, automobile scrap. We also started doing a lot of wooden work. Now the story behind this table is but this is actually pine wood. This is normally wood that you get when you import any item. Shipping container ma aune kath. That is how people really know about it. Our yo kath saying how the story started was normally one day I was passing by somewhere that was around Gusingal ko tyo Teku jane bato tira pachadi there are a lot of slums, and I saw people making houses out of them. Houses, and because they have a very temporary setup, and it just clicked to me that wood is wood. Like I said, glass is glass. A lot of people find it difficult ki wine ko bottle ma pani khana alikati अप्ठ्यारो मान्छन्, तर त्यही wine ko bottle बाट तपाईले label हटाइदिनु भयो भने, and if you start selling it at a supermarket, people will readily accept it. So it's the value that had to change. So I thought, what if we could actually make stuffs out of this on a regular basis, जुन तपाईको daily utility को सामानहरु भनौं न. It could be as simple as, let's say, this table, as simple as एउटा tray, a stool, kitchen ma use गर्ने, let's say, भाडाहरु राख्ने देखि लिएर washroom ma, anything that relates to furniture that you can use on a daily basis. अब यो किन गर्यौं भन्दा काठ त काठै हो. Again, coming back to the same vicious cycle of things. रुख तपाईको बाहिर काटे पनि नेपालमा काटे पनि कुरा एउटै हो. The idea why we started Dhaasoo was अब सबै कुरा त हामीले कन्ट्रोल गर्न सक्दैनौं, किनभने तपाईलाई जे चाहिन्छ त्यो त चाहिन्छ नै चाहिन्छ. तर जुन अलरेडी अवेलेबल छ त्यसलाई युज गर्ने कि जुन कुरा अवेलेबल छ त्यसलाई डिस्कार्ड गरेर नयाँ अझै उत्पादन गर्दै जाने. So what we thought was नेपालमा जुन आयातको नम्बर हेर्नुहुन्छ भने it's tons and tons, कति काठ होला त हामीसँग अहिलेको टाइममा. त्यो हामीले जस्ट के गरिरहेका छौं, अब नर्मली हेर्दाखेरि तपाईले त्यो मकै पोलेको ठाउँतिर जानुभयो भने you'll see this wood, हैन. Or let's say if you go to slum areas, these people use it as a temporary shelter. Maximum मैले यसको युज हेरेको भनेको चाहिँ तपाईको कुखुराहरुको खोर बनाउन. That's still productive, but it's not helping in a major way. So that's where we started thinking like, रुख नेपालमा काट्योस् कि तपाईको इन्डियामा होस् कि सिंगापुरमा, think globally. At the end of the day, a tree is being cut. for some purpose. अब यसको हिसाब हेर्ने हो भने एउटा कम्पनीले के सोच्छ, मेरो सामान यहाँ आयो नेपालमा, ल्यान्ड भयो, अब उसलाई यो कार्ड चाहिँदैन. And his job is done. He got his machine or he got his product safely shipped to him. Now what happens to this? That is where we are prolonging the life. यसको जुन यो कामको लागि यो बनाएको थियो त्यसलाई नै हामीले अझै we are trying to prolong the life of this so that result एक दिनमा आउँदैन, तर slowly and gradually you'll see a difference in that कहीं न कहीं तपाईँको नेपालको forests will be saved, or worldwide as well. This phenomenon will take time, but it might. And right now, if I say so, I think since last 3 years we've been successfully been able to make people buy these kind of items. Palette border nahi baneko, and right now I think it would not be wrong, but wherever in the market tapaile palette ko naam nikalnu bhayo bhane, I think Dhaasoo is the first name that comes to people, that we are the ones who deal with this, and we are the ones who have been creating items out of it.
It's good to know. It was.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a great idea, and you're not just making an impact in Nepal,
yes,
but also globally by
yes,
your local actions. It was a very interesting idea to me. In fact, you said this box was also made of the same
yes,
wood.
So nothing goes waste.
Yeah.
Nothing goes waste. It's all about ideas. Again, as I said, Dhaasoo is just an idea. As we are doing something, tomorrow we might have something more that might happen from the same stuff. It's just a matter of time that you realize the possibilities. You learn as you go. So it's not something that we've just learned from day one that okay, this can be done. The basic of doing a business, I think, is you start thinking as a consumer. The moment you start thinking as a consumer, you will always have ideas, because a lot of businesses think this is what I can make and this is what I want to sell, and they don't think what the consumer wants. The moment you start thinking as a consumer, you know that okay, if I had to make an office, I don't want to spend lakhs on it. I don't have to buy a new printer, I don't have to buy a new furniture, I don't have to spend again lakhs on just setting up an office. What if we could bring down that cost to almost 1/3 for any startup, for any household, for anyone for that matter? And that is something that only a consumer thinks, not a businessman, because consumers are always looking to make the most out of their budget, whereas businessmen are always trying to exploit the consumer with whatever they have. So if you have $100, I would always want that 100. But we at Dhaasoo, we ensure that if you have 100, let's try and do multiple stuffs with that 100, but we would say let's start with 50 today, come back after 6 months or a year, and then you can spend 50 if you want to. That's where the difference is.
Good to know. There was also one very interesting concept that you used earlier.
Yeah.
Normally we talk about recycling things.
Yes.
But you put your actions, or let's say this startup, in a very different way.
Yes.
You said that here at Dhaasoo, you upscale things.
We upcycle it. So basically the difference
right.
between so if you see Dhaasoo's logo, right, we have 3 words, and so when people want to ask what is Dhaasoo all about, if you see those 3 words, it actually kind of makes sense, at least gives you a brief idea. So the first one is reuse, second one is a bit complicated, which I'll come back to, upcycle, and then the third one is create. So basically reuse is I'm again reusing this material which has already been used by someone else. I'm upcycling, which means I'm actually generating more value or creating more value of an existing product. So let's say if this product had no value or 0 value or a minimum value, we almost at times try to create a value which is 2 times or even 10 times, 10 folds of its actual origin. And then we transform it to something which you can use it into your daily lives. That is where the create part comes in. And usually what we do at Dhaasoo is we invite our consumers. They come normally without, let's say, ideas, or sometimes they have a vague idea, and then we brainstorm old school. So usually people don't come with ideas, or at times they have very vague idea of what they want. That's where we brainstorm the ideas, sit down with them. So it's not our product. You're actually being part of that whole making process where we do it mutually, and we say, okay, out of this we can probably create this. So there's a value addition for the consumer that tomorrow, unlike buying a product from the market or off the shelf, there's some sentiment that the consumer has. Now the best part is sentiments towards scrap. That is where the idea goes bigger. It's not just like a product, but the product for them, and that is where we create values for the consumers.
Thank you so much. Reused,
upcycle,
and create. Interesting. So that was about ideas and how Mr. Nitesh, he came up with this unique startup called Dhaasoo. We'll also be talking about how entrepreneurs face different difficulties and challenges during the course of operations after the short break. Welcome back after the short break. We have with us the founder of Dhaasoo Deals, Mr. Nitesh Sharma, who has so far also been a hotelier, event manager, e-commerce business person, and now finally doing something that he loves doing. So to every entrepreneur, the journey is actually very difficult. And probably that's the reason why पनि धेरै entrepreneursहरु धेरै मान्छेलाई entrepreneur हुन मन लाग्दैन त्यो struggle ले गर्दा पनि हैन. So why don't we talk about the struggles you had यो startup setup गर्ने बेलामा, and what kept you going के you must have had a lot of difficult times and all. Despite that you continue गर्नको लागि, what kept you going के त्यो motivation factor?
Okay, so as you said, I mean, the answer kind of lies in the question itself. I'm a person who always wanted to shuffle, so from hotels I got fed up. I thought, okay, I want something more from life. Then I went into events, then realized, okay, this is not something that I'm meant for. I need some more. So I started shuffling, and when I say shuffling, it was not that I was not acquiring skills. So even when I worked with call centers, I mastered the art of, let's say, selling. With hotels, I learned hospitality. So every industry that I worked with, I kind of learned something that today helps me a lot with my business. But when this happened, the biggest challenge was, the story goes like this. I mean, a normal, usual family gathering where we were just sitting for a drink over a bottle of beer. Me, my dad, my uncle, and then somewhere down the line, how relatives are, they'll always poke you like, you're old enough. And this was in 2014, yes. And they were like, you're not doing too much with your life. You look at others, usko chhori. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm just in my own zone at that point of time. And suddenly, I don't know, I start looking at the beer bottle because I just wanted to distract myself from them. That's where it kind of clicked that, today if you even want to go and get a business card printed, normally the rate is like around 1 to 1.5 rupee. The bottle is like, it's glass, you've got labeling all over it. I said, man, this cannot be worth 1.5. And that's where I asked my uncle about, these kabadi walas and, how they work and everything. Plus almost at that point of time, Madesh Andolan was almost about to start. I also come from Tarai, so I kind of had some sentiments. Always bullied during the school that, you don't belong here, kind of a sentiment. So kind of, made sense for me because he said that, we think that these people do not make money. And the reality is something different. If you go and see their lifestyle plus the amount of money that they make, so this is the exact word he said. He said, there is money in trash. It's just that people like you and me, we don't see it. It's just how these people are dressed up. That's how we think they don't make money, but the reality is something different. So that's when, I thought about it. After a while, now imagine a guy who's almost like one bottle beer down. He calls his dad and his brother and opens his laptop and starts writing, like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And they're like, he's lost his mind. I said, I'm going to do this, and I said, what if, I could make a lamp out of a bottle? That would be cool. And everyone is like, this is not going to work, forget it. I started kind of same time I was there in Kemu. I had not quit, but I'd reached there as head of sales. So I'd reached almost to wherever I wanted to. So I started researching about it, and after a week I had a lamp ready. My mom said, "Who's going to buy this? No one. Forget it. You're still not doing it right. Go back to your job. Focus where you have to focus." I said, "No, this is what I want to do." I put the ad on Hamra Bazaar. Surprisingly, after a week, I sold it off in front of my parents. I did not have an office. That was the only product that I had. The guy came from almost, I think, Kantipur's office to my house. In front of my mom and dad, paid 1200, took the lamp, and I showed that money to my mom and dad, and they were like, "No, it's a fluke." I said, "I sold a product and you still think it's a fluke?" They said, "If you think you can do this, try and sell one more." And that's when I felt, okay, I have to now make sure that it's not just a lamp. So for the first 6-7 months, I think I almost hibernated myself. I was working with Kemu, but yet deep inside my brains, I was always looking for ideas, what else can be done, how can I go about it. So the biggest challenge, I think, for any entrepreneur, for any idea to come into, let's say, reality is, do you believe in yourself? And usually what happens is, no matter how supportive your family is or your friends are, somewhere down the line, you always have to understand one thing. If it is not coming from within you, it will never come from them. You have to first make people believe, and that's when they'll start supporting you. And for me, it was difficult because no one was doing what I was trying to do. There was no industry for it. I did not have people who were doing this so that I could hire them. I myself was not sure if I could do this. It's not something that I've learned, because I come from so many backgrounds, and doing this today, I feel myself that what am I doing today? So making that phase by phase, learning, and then hiring people, teaching them, and of course at the same time sustaining the business, making money, was difficult. But I think initially what excited people was that we're doing something different, which they had not heard about. So I think पहिला चाहिँ the uniqueness ले people started coming to us. Now it's the core value, which was to preserve what we have rather than exploit, and that is the value now we have started creating. So the idea that I planned on day one was a 5-year project, out of which I'm already down with 3 years. It was not about making money in the 5 years. First, it was educating people what we are trying to do, because if you can educate people, then business will come slowly. And touch wood, today I think I can proudly say that we don't have to promote our business as such. We're not even located at a prime location, but we still get people from all around. Let's say at least since last 6-7 months, all over Nepal, people have been curious about what we do, and they want to buy our products, which is, I would say, somewhere down the line, successful.
True. You really have been under the radar, because it took me a while to get here.
Yes, it is.
Well, from what I can say, from what I can see from your life is about the journey that you live.
Yes, it's not the destination.
Yeah, it's not about you go to this place and that's there for you. That's the only thing for you. Life मा जति पनि पाटोहरु पुरा गर्दै जान्छौं हामीले, त्यसले नै they make us into who we are today. एउटा अनि अर्को, you need to really have that branding, and I can see that you've branded your startup very well. I mean, it started with educating your clients.
I think because, see, again, as I said, a lot of people think, if you see even right now, most of our products, or I should say 95% of our products, we don't brand them. Now, in today's world, I know I might sound so stupid to a lot of people, because how can you sell a product without branding? I mean, people would say, no, you can't. And here we are actually proving them wrong. We don't brand our products. We actually want, you to take the things as they are, in the most, let's say, beautiful way, or at times rustic way, but we don't want to brand and promote it like, okay, we are the ones behind it. And that is where, again, as I said, we don't want to, technology sometimes, as we say, it's a boon, but sometimes it's a curse as well. Yeah. And I want people to, go the old school way of doing things, rather than, marketing, branding, this and that. I think it's important. People need to realize the value of the product rather than the brand. A shirt is a shirt again. whether you're wearing it from Zara or from, let's say, Zodiac, or even from Rikuti Mandap. If you can understand the value of the material and what you're wearing, then it does not matter, because at the end of the day, the tag is there, not here. So you need to understand that. So again, that's what we're trying to do. No tags involved.
Thank you. Yes. True. And also, yeah, believe in yourself.
Yes.
I'm really having a nice time here.
Thank you so
because
much.
I just have so many takeaways from this interview today. So we talked about struggles, and we talked about how probably it was difficult for you for quite long to start the business. And yeah, it's probably not easy for anyone who would like to start something of their own. So having said that, there are also other aspects of our life that we would like to know more. And from what I know, you're also a very enthusiastic singer.
Okay, well then again, there's a story behind it.
A music lover. Well, how would you like to? That's a different part.
See, I think so. This is how I was grown up in a, let's say, joint family. I would not say very conservative, but very open to things and ideas. But normally what happens is everyone, at least in our part of the world, they always say this to you, including your parents, your relatives, or let's say the old gurus. There's always an age to do something, and I kind of feel that that's not right, that's not true. So the music thing actually started before my studies. I actually went to India because I could give an audition for Indian Idol.
Really?
Which never happened. Because you get stuck in the life, let's say, chores that you have every day, your schedule. I was in college, I had to study, then of course your friends are there, and you just get tied up. Then I came back to Nepal after almost 8 years, then again got tied up with work and then family here and there. I had a guitar almost back home when I was in my school days, but I never learned it. And one day, I think this has just been around 2 or 3 months, I just looked at it and I said, time for you to now come back out of the cover and then start something. It's never too late for anything. Again, as I said, do you believe in yourself? A lot of people think there are good singers and there are bad singers. I would say there's nothing like that. If you see, no one learns anything the day you're born. You learn as you go, but do you have that hunger within you to learn? I thought I could not learn guitar, that's why I never touched it, ever. But the day I felt, now I have to do it, now at least I can play like an amateur. So, that's how it works.
Amateur, okay.
And you have to keep your hobbies alive if you want to, because at times when you're not into a business like such, or even for people who do jobs or anything, I see them just going to work, come back again, go back to work, come back again. Life becomes monotonous. I love cooking, I do that at times as well. I like to sing, yes, I do that times as well. So do things that actually make you happy. People look for happiness, there's no happiness around. Find happiness within yourself, and then you'll be a happy person, and that reflects into your business as well.
Yeah, it was a great pleasure to have seen different aspects of you as well. Is there any message you'd like to give to our viewers? Mostly they're young and they're also looking for inspiration in life. Honestly, this entire interview was an inspiration to me, and I'm sure it was for the audience as well. But is there any message you'd like to give them?
Okay, the message is going to be bittersweet, if I may say so. I'll tell you why. There's a saying that my granddad used to say to me: everyone wants to become the boss, but if everyone was a boss, who would work? What I see in recent times, and I'm not saying it's not good for the ecosystem of, let's say, the economy. Right now, every young, person wants to become an entrepreneur. I have no problems with that, but nothing comes easy, Just because you see someone who's 20-year-old became a millionaire does not mean you'll become one, And what I see mostly is, it's good to have ambitions, but you also need to first, develop the skills to, become one of those successful people. And if I had to say it in very short words or a sentence, I would say it takes years, for a person to become someone. What I've learned in last 13 years, maybe you can learn it in 5 years, but you can't learn it in 13 hours. So that is something that people need to understand. The young guns have actually started making the so-called entrepreneurship more like a trend. You know, it's cool to be an entrepreneur today, but the story behind being an entrepreneur is very difficult. So before you want to become one, do the research, see if that's something that you really want to do. Because what we see here in Nepal right now is a lot of people have ideas, they do get started. How many of they do sustain? Rarely, because after you see a great idea, not even anywhere, because the passion is not there. Just because you have the infrastructure, you have the money, and let's say you have some kind of interest towards it, don't do it. Do it the day you feel like, okay, this is where I'm going to go hardcore, I'll give it my all. There's no failure. Either this is going to succeed or no.
Or you learn a lesson.
Yes.
Yeah, because after all, life is a
that is
package
what
of
I
what
would
you
say
do.
to all the youngsters. Take your time. See, everyone has their own time zone. No one is running after you. Take your own sweet time, do it in your own sweet time, and you will succeed. You'll find your calling someday. It does not have to be today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
I had a lovely time today,
Thank you so
and
much.
very inspiring, to be honest. I hope the viewers felt the same way about it. We will return back with other inspirational stories in our next episodes. For now, we'd like to thank, as a token of appreciation for his inspirational story today, for sharing his ideas, we also have a small gift for him, especially from
Thank you so much.
our side.
Thank you so much, and the team.
It was our pleasure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.